Well, Saudi Arabia's ambassador to the Netherlands addressed the court in the last hour. He says Israel is treating Palestinians as dispensable objects.
Israel defends this obscene brutality as the necessary price for defeating Hamas. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia firmly rejects this twisted logic. Israel's actions in laying waste to the Gaza Strip, killing and maiming tens of thousands of innocent civilians, depriving them of food, water, and the basic means of survival, while displacing virtually the entire population of the 2.3 million people are not justified under any circumstances. Israel's actions have severely dehumanized the Palestinian population, treating them as dispensable objects rather than human beings. These disgraceful acts, which have brought about formal accusation before this esteemed court that Israel is committing genocide against the Palestinian population.
Marwan Bishara is Al Jazeera's senior political analyst, joins us once again. Marwan, what did you make of what Saudi Arabia was saying there, that Israel's treating them as Palestinians as dispensable objects?
You know, one could only hope that the Saudi position, including this statement and many others made in half an hour, would be the same that Saudi Arabia underlines when talking to the United States and Israel in the future. Because we hear in the back corridors of power, we hear in the Western media and the Israeli media that Saudi Arabia is eager to normalize relations with Israel, that it is more than happy just to sidestep, if you will, the Palestinian issue, and that all it says regarding the Palestinian question is a lip service. But in fact, what you hear today from the Saudi legal team rep is that Saudi Arabia understands all too well the illegality of the Israeli occupation, the necessity to end that occupation and annexation, and to end the aggression against the Palestinian people, no less in Gaza. So I think this Saudi understanding that we hear it now, this case, comprehensive case that Saudi Arabia makes against Israel and its occupation, which the Saudi says it's also in line with what Saudi Arabia had underlined over the years and with the Saudi peace initiative that later on became the Arab peace initiative in 2002, which has been, by the way, sidelined, ignored by Israel and the United States. But I think it remains the cornerstone of any future settlement, peace, normalization relations, because it calls for, once again, the end of occupation, the source of all evil.
Why do you think it's taken Saudi Arabia so long to get to this point after, almost 5 months of continuous bombing in Gaza?
Well, in fact, Saudi Arabia did host the Arab and the Islamic majority countries summit in Riyadh a month after the aggression began on Gaza. And it came out with, resolutions that, at least on paper...
Nothing quite as forceful as what we heard in the last hour.
Absolutely, because to bring 20-plus Arab countries and 50-plus Muslim majority countries to agree on anything, when some of them have good relations with Israel, some of them have excellent relations with the United States, Israel's backer, and so on and so forth. So, but all to say that Saudi Arabia did host those two summits, and it came up with something. Again, what's important is that, of course, to remind ourselves, as you and I have been talking over the past few days, that this is non-binding, this is all legal rhetoric, but the reality is much different. And what goes on in the corridors of diplomacy, of course, is rather to be contrasted with the purity of the legal argument.
Yeah, as you say, any advisory opinion is going to be non-binding, but there are repercussions here. We've heard from analysts saying that this is a stain on Israel's reputation, but not only Israel, also the United States.
I think we would be wise moving forward every time we mention Israel to say US-backed Israel, right? Because in the context of Gaza, in the context of genocide, in the context of Israel in the Middle East, in the context of the widening of the war, we can only talk of the US-backed Israel, because without the US backing, Israel wouldn't have been able to do what it's doing. It wouldn't have been able to carry genocide. And I think it wouldn't be able to stand up to the international community as we see it today represented at The Hague, with some 50-some countries want to make their arguments. And by the way, I heard what your conversation with Step, but honestly, I'm surprised by the Dutch legal argument, right? I mean, what we've heard from them, I mean, again, because this is legality, right? This is not reality, unfortunately. But he basically said that Israel's occupation have lasted too long. Hence, it's not just a temporary occupation that Israel can defend. It's annexation, hence it's illegal, right? And the other thing he said, which was very important, that the most important fundamental right is that of self-determination, and Israel is denying the Palestinian the right for self-determination through the occupation. He went also to say, which we haven't heard a lot of, that the Palestinians have the right to resist, including the use of force, as long as it is within the bounds of the international humanitarian law. But how long haven't we heard that, right? It's as if this morning, I mean, if you are a student of this issue, right, and of Israel's occupation, right, for several years now, there's a whole number of vocabularies that have been forgotten, right? For example, today the South African reminded us, I put it somewhere, that Israel is going to need to end its occupation, withdraw its settlements, its illegal settlements and settlers, allow for the right of return of all Palestinian refugees. I can't remember when the last time we've heard such clarity of judgment to say, if you really want real peace, you have to address the root causes. And the root causes are occupation, illegal settlement, and the dispossessions of the Palestinians.
And potentially even pay reparations for all of that as well.
Absolutely.
Was also included. Thanks as always, Marwan Bishara, our senior political analyst. Thank you.